Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's News in Review for January 30th. I'm your host, Lauren Gray, of This Week in Digital Marketing, the live show every Friday. And I thought we'd start doing a little recap of a little bit of news from last week that carried over into this week, and a little bit of news from this week that went into this week's show. Some news that carried over from last week: Sinji announced the acquisition of Review Pro, which may or may not have a larger scale effect, yet to be determined. There's also the fact that there was an article from i2 Inc. about the value proposition of Amazon, Facebook, Google replacing banks, which was of interest. That was in our show number 77 of last week, as well as the Sinji announcement. As to was also the Google hotel search results with pricing trends and top-rated data, something that the airlines have been dealing with for a while. That was also discussed in show 77. As to where that grows and how fast that grows is yet to be seen. Also, for this week, some interesting news articles that we had from that was an Austrian hotel was held hostage, or held ransom, I should say, over its room locks. It was a hacker that came in, and it was a soft coding that was able to go over and put into effect no effect to the door locks. Didn't lock anybody in, as misreported in the first article, but it did keep them from being able to issue key codes or even be able to have guests in the hotel because they couldn't lock the door because the doors were permanently locked unless you used a manual key. An interesting discussion came from that as to overall securities and what's to be worried about that. Also this week, Hilton unveiled a new loyalty program that allows you to use points beyond just in-hotel redemption, being able to use them for Amazon, as well as being able to share points between you and your family members, which was something that they say they didn't adopt from the airlines, but seems remarkably similar to the airlines. Also, we updated the fact that Google phone call tracking for the mobile ads, they recently, as of last week, went over and updated the need only to use your certified local phone number in your ad campaigns. That conversation has been modified to say that the Google will be providing suffixes that will allow the phones to only go to your certified local phone number. So you're still able to use dynamic phone numbers to do individual ad campaigns, but only through Google at this time. We also talked about other news items was, let's see here, call tracking. Google Flights getting more and more traction as to the usability and speed and efficiency. Also, pet travel is getting a little bit more complicated rather than simplistic, and some of the things that are happening with that. Also, Booking.com, the hotel pricing enforcement is coming under review as to exactly what's happening in the European market. Article from Booking.com as to them changing their policies, their written policies, as to now adapting to what will be eventual legal changes in the EU system. And we talked about Boston Dynamic making a robot that can replace the potential services within a hotel, effectively reducing more staffing needs. That was an interesting question that came up out of that whole process. As well as the good and the bad of ad blocking, an article from eHotelier magazine. If you'd like to know how we talked about these things, what we talked about these things, you can go see show number 77, which was live last week, and show 78, which was live this week. All on hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com/live. We also do a recap if you can't watch the video show for the entire duration. We also have a podcast recap that you can find at hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com/podcast. And we also do our Monday Marketing Minute, which is a quick answer to a question that had come up into the show that we didn't get the chance to answer to. So we hope you join us for any of those as well. Until then, thank you so much for watching this week's News and Review for January 30th. My name is Lauren Gray, host of hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com, and we'll talk to you next week.